Have you ever fallen asleep with the TV on, thinking it helps you relax? What if that quiet comfort is secretly aging your body faster every night? And could this one common nighttime habit be stealing your rest, memory, and peace without you even knowing it? Many older adults don't realize how powerfully their bodies speak after the sun goes down. The trouble is, we often ignore the messages. Most seniors assume that real danger comes suddenly, like a heart attack or stroke, but the truth is more subtle and far more haunting. For many people over 65, the body begins sending quiet warnings long before any major health event. These signals come not with loud alarms, but through small, seemingly harmless behaviors, like ignoring aches or brushing off mild discomfort, that slowly chip away at your well-being. In this video, I want to shed light on how ordinary nighttime routines could be quietly damaging your health. These habits may be the reason you feel groggy in the morning, struggle with vivid or disturbing dreams, or wake up feeling older than you did the day before. Stay with me through the end, because you deserve restful sleep and a healthy heart, mind, and body every single night. I'll walk you through 3 common nighttime mistakes that can negatively impact your cardiovascular health, cognitive clarity, and overall aging process. And most importantly, I'll share simple, practical tips to help you make immediate changes so you can start waking up feeling refreshed and renewed. If you care about your health, or the health of someone you love, this is the kind of information you should hear before bedtime tonight. Before we dive in, I'd be grateful if you'd support this channel. If this video helps you, please hit the like button and consider subscribing so you don't miss any future health advice. And if you're watching, let me know in the comments. Just type 1 if you like this video, or 0 if it wasn't quite what you needed. Your feedback helps me serve you better. Now, let's begin. The first habit we're going to discuss is falling asleep with the TV on. At first, this might seem completely harmless. In fact, many older adults find comfort in the background noise. Whether it's a favorite show or a late-night news broadcast, the familiar voices and sounds offer a sense of companionship, especially for those who live alone. It's a routine that feels like it softens the silence, and for some, it helps them drift off to sleep faster. But the truth is, this innocent-looking bedtime habit might be silently doing more harm than you think. Let's take the example of Joe, a proud 77-year-old Marine veteran who's lived alone since his beloved wife passed 3 years ago. Every night, Joe watches classic westerns, the ones that remind him of simpler times. He often lets the television hum in the background, falling asleep to its gentle flicker and familiar scenes. But what Joe doesn't know is that while the stories on the screen may bring comfort, the blue light and constant background noise could be disrupting his sleep cycles, affecting his heart rhythm, and subtly aging his brain. At first, Joe found comfort in the soft sounds and gentle flicker of the television. The familiar tune of gun smoke playing in the background helped ease the loneliness, lulling him into sleep night after night. It made him feel safe, surrounded by echoes of the past he loved. But as time went on, subtle changes began to surface. Joe started waking up each morning feeling more exhausted than rested. His thoughts became clouded, his steps uncertain, and he often struggled to remember small details, like what he had eaten the night before. His daughter, deeply worried by these changes, scheduled a visit with his doctor. After conducting a few straightforward cognitive tests, the results were clear. Joe's short-term memory was declining at a rate much faster than expected for someone his age. When asked about his nightly habits, Joe simply mentioned what he'd always done, falling asleep with the TV on, just to keep the silence at bay. Sadly, Joe's story isn't unusual. Many seniors unknowingly rely on background noise to keep them company at night, especially those who live alone. But what they don't realize is that this seemingly harmless habit might be doing far more damage than good. The soothing hum of a television can quietly rob the body of the deep, restorative sleep it desperately needs for healing and cognitive function. Scientific studies have consistently shown that exposure to blue light and artificial noise during nighttime hours can severely disrupt the body's natural circadian rhythm. This internal clock helps regulate sleep-wake cycles and is essential for proper rest. Even if your eyes are closed, your brain remains slightly alert when there's sound and movement in the room. That means your brain never fully powers down, never reaches the deep, healing stages of sleep that are vital to your physical and mental recovery. You might sleep for 6 or even 8 hours, but if your brain doesn't enter the deeper sleep cycles, especially stages 3 and 4, your body can't fully restore itself. These stages are crucial for memory retention, immune system strength, and cardiovascular healing. Without them, your body slowly begins to break down in ways you might not immediately notice. According to the National Institutes of Health, older adults exposed regularly to light and sound at night have a 28% greater risk of developing mild cognitive impairment. That's not just an abstract number. It's a wake-up call, a reminder that something as simple as background TV noise could be quietly aging your brain every night. Forgetfulness, slower reaction times, and trouble focusing. These are not just signs of a busy mind. They're often the earliest red flags pointing to cognitive decline, including dementia. But the real danger doesn't stop at memory. When your sleep is regularly disrupted by light and sound, like from a television left on all night, it can silently trigger a cascade of physical consequences. Over time, it increases nighttime blood pressure, heightens inflammation in the body, and throws off your blood sugar levels. These imbalances, while easy to dismiss day to day, gradually open the door to serious conditions like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and other long-term illnesses that can drastically affect your quality of life. That's why understanding the link between restful sleep and brain function is so critical. The way your brain rests at night influences how you think, move, and feel during the day. Ever notice yourself feeling unusually off balance or mentally cloudy after a rough night of sleep? It's no coincidence. These nighttime disruptions accumulate quietly, undermining your health one restless night at a time. Now here's the encouraging part. This harmful habit is surprisingly easy to correct. You don't have to give up your favorite evening shows or sit in total silence just to get better sleep. In Joe's case, his daughter made a few thoughtful changes that made a lasting impact. She adjusted the settings on his TV so it would automatically turn off after 30 minutes, just enough time for him to drift off peacefully without the constant hum and flashing lights. She also added a gentle salt lamp, casting a warm, calming glow over the room without overstimulating his senses. Instead of television noise, Joe began listening to nature-inspired sounds, soft ocean waves, gentle rain tapping on the roof, or wind rustling through trees. These sounds offered the comforting background he enjoyed, but without the mental agitation caused by screens or dialogue. And the result? Within just a week, Joe noticed a remarkable difference. He felt sharper in the mornings, clearer in his thinking, and more like his old self. A month later, even his doctor was surprised by how much brighter and more alert he had become. The best part is, you don't need to invest in expensive devices or complicated tech to enjoy these same results. If you live alone and need a little help winding down at night, a simple white noise machine or a free mobile app that plays calming music can make all the difference. Choose options that feature soft instrumental melodies, ambient nature tracks, or gentle storytelling. Avoid anything with sudden volume changes or bright visuals, which can jolt your brain out of rest mode. And if you absolutely must fall asleep with the TV on, use the sleep timer function. That one setting, just a few button presses, can mean the difference between a restless night and a truly restorative one. Once the screen fades to black, make your environment as dark as possible. Darkness isn't just comforting, it's essential for your brain to produce melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep. Consider installing blackout curtains or shades, which are both affordable and incredibly effective at blocking out even the faintest streetlights or early morning sun. If that's not feasible, a comfortable sleep mask can work wonders in shielding your eyes from any unwanted light. But what if silence makes you feel uneasy? That's more common than you might think, especially for those who've lived with background noise for years. In that case, it's worth creating a calming bedtime routine that incorporates gentle, predictable sounds. Familiar audiobooks, especially ones you've heard before, can help your mind settle without being overly stimulating. There's something deeply soothing about hearing a warm, familiar voice tell a story. It feels a bit like having a loved one sit quietly beside you as you drift off. Now, here's something most people overlook. Sleeping with the TV on doesn't just disrupt brain activity, it also puts unnecessary stress on your heart. You see, your heart is designed to slow down at night. When you're constantly exposed to artificial light and noise, your blood pressure may not drop as it should. And that nightly drop in blood pressure is crucial. It allows your heart to recover, rebuild, and prepare for the demands of the day ahead. When your heart doesn't get that rest, it's like a machine that never gets turned off. Over time, that added strain can lead to serious consequences: heart failure, irregular heartbeats, and even sudden cardiac events while you sleep. These aren't rare occurrences or exaggerated warnings. They're conclusions drawn from years of medical research and clinical evidence. The good news? You can reduce these risks with one simple, intentional habit: turning off the television before bed. That small act can transform the quality of your sleep, protect your cognitive health, lower your risk of heart disease, and help you wake up with more clarity and energy. Sometimes, it really is the smallest choices that bring the biggest impact. And for those of you who live alone, like Joe, remember this: true comfort doesn't come from constant noise. It comes from honoring your body's need for peace, silence, and healing. The television might offer temporary companionship, but it may also be robbing you of the deep, restorative sleep your body is craving. In the next section, we'll uncover another bedtime habit that, while it may seem harmless at first glance, could be quietly undermining your health in ways you never imagined. If you're still with me, stay tuned. What we'll explore next is something every senior deserves to know. If you've made it this far and are still watching, I truly appreciate your time and attention. Go ahead and comment number 1 below to let me know you're here with me, learning and growing through these important health lessons. Your engagement helps more than you know. Now, let's talk about the second habit, one that doesn't get nearly enough attention: going to bed thirsty. At first glance, it may seem like a small thing, but for many older adults, it's a conscious decision made every single night. You may be wondering, why would someone purposely avoid drinking water before sleep? The answer is simple and deeply relatable. It's the fear of having to get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. No one enjoys being pulled from a peaceful sleep only to stumble through a dark room. For seniors, especially those living alone or dealing with limited mobility, that trip to the bathroom can feel like crossing a minefield in the dark, filled with the risk of falling, slipping, or losing balance. So, to avoid the disruption and danger of those nighttime trips, many choose what seems like the safer path. They stop drinking fluids after dinner. But here's the twist. This habit, while seemingly logical, could be silently putting your health at serious risk. Let me share Carol's story. Carol is 80 years old, active and full of life. She's known for her morning walks and her sharp mind. But one morning, she didn't show up. Her close friend Nancy became concerned when her calls went unanswered. She rushed over to Carol's home, only to find her collapsed on the kitchen floor, confused, weak, and unable to move her left arm. Carol had suffered a minor stroke during the early hours of the morning. Thankfully, she received help in time. But what shocked both Nancy and the doctors was the root cause. Carol wasn't just having a bad morning. She was severely dehydrated. Over the past year, she had been cutting off all fluids after 6 p.m., She thought she was protecting herself from late-night bathroom runs, but what she didn't know was that her body was paying a hidden price. Her doctor explained that when we deprive ourselves of water before bed, especially as we age, our blood becomes thicker and more prone to clotting. This dehydration increases the risk of serious complications, like heart attacks and strokes. It also affects mental clarity, which is why so many seniors feel foggy or disoriented in the mornings. Our bodies depend on hydration throughout the night, not just during the day. So the question becomes, are we trading one risk for another? And is that trade-off truly worth it? Stay with me, because in the next section, we'll explore how you can stay hydrated at night without sacrificing your comfort or safety. There are smart, simple strategies to protect your heart, your brain, and your rest, all at the same time. Carol's doctor explained that her blood had become noticeably thicker and stickier, especially during the colder winter months. With the dry indoor air and reduced perspiration, her body wasn't flushing out fluids like it did in warmer weather. As a result, her heart had to work significantly harder just to circulate blood. And when the blood is thickened, it increases the risk of clotting, a major contributor to strokes. What makes this situation even more concerning is the silent way it develops. Most people don't realize just how common dehydration becomes with age. Our body's natural sense of thirst weakens over time, meaning by the time you feel thirsty, you might already be well into a dehydrated state. Now add to that the fact that even while sleeping, your body continues to lose fluids. Whether it's through breathing, perspiration, or the dry air pumped out by heaters or ceiling fans, fluid loss continues through the night. Without replenishment before bed, you're starting the night at a deficit. Scientific studies, including those from trusted institutions like the Mayo Clinic and the American Heart Association, have confirmed the risks. Even mild dehydration during sleep can elevate your blood pressure, increase your heart rate, interfere with quality sleep, and reduce oxygen delivery to the brain. It doesn't take extreme dehydration to cause these effects. Just consistently going to bed slightly underhydrated is enough to create a pattern of stress on the body over time. One of the more subtle but alarming signs is nighttime confusion or dizziness. Some seniors even begin to suspect the early stages of dementia, when in fact, their brain is simply not receiving enough hydration to function properly during rest. Can you imagine how frightening that must feel? To think your memory is fading when the solution could be as simple as a few sips of water. But here's the encouraging news. Preventing all of this doesn't require anything drastic. You don't need to chug water or worry about wetting the bed. The key is to hydrate mindfully. Doctors recommend drinking a modest amount, about half a glass of water, roughly 30 to 45 minutes before going to bed. This small amount gives your body time to absorb the fluid without immediately triggering a bathroom trip in the middle of the night. Worried about flushing out essential minerals or waking up too often? There's a gentle fix for that too. A pinch of high-quality sea salt or a splash of an electrolyte solution can help your cells absorb the water more efficiently, preventing it from going straight to your bladder. Think of it as nourishing your cells instead of just flooding your system. After her stroke, Carol took this advice seriously. One of the first things she changed was her nighttime hydration routine. She now makes it a point to sip a small, mineral-rich glass of water before settling into bed. That simple change helped her feel more alert in the mornings and gave her peace of mind, knowing her body was being supported while she slept. Stay with me, because in the next section, we'll look at one more bedtime habit that might seem completely harmless, but could be slowly aging your body in ways you don't yet realize. One of the smartest habits Carol adopted was setting a nightly reminder at exactly 8:30 p.m. This gentle alarm was her cue to drink just 4 ounces of water. Not too much, but just enough to keep her body gently hydrated through the night. To make her bedroom environment even more sleep-friendly, she added a small space heater to maintain warmth and prevent her skin and lungs from drying out in the cold, dry air. Her doctor also suggested a simple dietary change, having a small snack rich in water content during the early evening. A few slices of cucumber or a handful of sweet melon provided not only hydration, but also important vitamins and antioxidants. These light, water-packed foods helped her stay nourished without putting unnecessary pressure on her bladder. But perhaps the most important step Carol took was a conversation with her daughter about making her nighttime routine safer. Together, they installed soft-glow nightlights in the hallway and a sturdy grab bar near the bathroom. That small act of preparation gave Carol something priceless: peace of mind. Just knowing that she could safely make her way to the restroom if needed lifted a weight off her shoulders. For the first time in a long while, she was finally able to drift off and stay asleep through the night without fear or discomfort. Many people have been led to believe that drinking water before bed is something to avoid. But the reality is that dehydration, not hydration, poses the real threat. When your body is running low on fluids, your heart has to exert more effort to pump blood that's now thicker and slower moving. And that thickened blood increases the chances of clots, especially during sleep. Meanwhile, your brain becomes more vulnerable to confusion, lightheadedness, and even fainting spells. And that's not all. Dehydration at night can also trigger painful muscle cramps, especially in the calves and feet, something that can jolt you awake in the middle of the night and disrupt the deep rest your body so desperately needs. Even worse, dehydration raises the risk of nighttime falls. And for seniors, even a minor fall can lead to serious consequences. Can a few ounces of water really make a difference? The answer is a resounding yes. Your body relies on hydration to repair, reset, and recharge during sleep. If you're going to bed dry and depleted, you're robbing your body of the chance to recover from the stress of the day. This is especially true if you're on medications like diuretics, which increase how often you need to urinate. In those cases, timing your fluid intake becomes even more important. For example, you might consider drinking a bit more water during the afternoon and tapering off slowly as the evening progresses. That way, you're not loading your system just before bed, but you're also not sending your body to sleep in a dehydrated state. The key is balance, being mindful, not fearful. And with just a few simple adjustments, like Carol did, you can protect your heart, your brain, your sleep, and your independence. In the earlier hours of the day, morning and afternoon, it's wise to focus on staying well hydrated. But when evening rolls around, it's perfectly fine to scale back a bit. Just don't cut it off completely. Even a few gentle sips of water before bedtime can make a surprising difference. One simple but often overlooked tip is to keep a small glass of water on your nightstand. If you happen to wake up during the night feeling parched or slightly dizzy, taking a small sip can help bring your body back into balance and prevent a domino effect of health issues. We all want uninterrupted, restful sleep. But real peace doesn't come from avoiding the things our bodies need. It comes from preparing for them. A mindful approach to hydration before bed isn't just about comfort. It's about protecting your heart, nourishing your brain, and giving your body the right conditions to truly rest and recover. Think of it as laying a foundation for how well you'll function tomorrow, starting with tonight. Now, let's shift our attention to the third nighttime habit that deserves a closer look. So far, we've explored how something as small as skipping a few sips of water can quietly sabotage your health. But what about something even more subtle? Something you can't drink, touch, or even see. Something that silently surrounds you every single night. It's time to talk about the air in your bedroom. Specifically, the temperature and quality of the air you breathe while you sleep. These elements can affect your body in powerful ways, often without you even realizing it. If you're still watching and finding value in this discussion, please take a moment to comment the number 2 below. It helps me know you're here with me and that this information is resonating with you. I truly appreciate your time and attention. Now, there are 3 key factors to be mindful of when it comes to your sleep environment. A room that's too warm, too stuffy, or lacking proper airflow. You might not give it much thought. After all, when you're asleep, your eyes are closed and you're unaware of what's happening around you. But your body doesn't stop working. It notices. And the conditions in your room, especially the air you breathe, play a vital role in how well you rest and recover overnight. Shall we take a deeper look at how this invisible element, air, could be impacting your health more than you ever expected? Let's continue. The quality of the air you breathe each night plays a much bigger role in your health than most people realize. It directly affects your heart, your brain, and your body's ability to achieve deep, restful sleep. For older adults in particular, this can gradually turn into a hidden health hazard. As we age, the body becomes less efficient at regulating both temperature and oxygen intake, functions that are essential while you sleep. Let me introduce you to Frank. At 83 years old, Frank has lived in the same cozy home for nearly 5 decades. A retired plumber, he's always cherished the comfort of warmth at night. "I grew up freezing," he used to say with a chuckle. "Now I've earned the right to stay warm." So every evening he would set his bedroom thermostat to a steady 75 degrees Fahrenheit, year-round. Even when the air outside was fresh and mild during spring and fall, Frank kept the windows shut tight. His room felt like a haven, warm, familiar, and sealed from the outside world. But over time, things began to shift. Frank noticed a strange tightness in his chest when he woke up. A subtle but persistent feeling like he couldn't quite take a deep breath. It wasn't painful, but it was unsettling. He also began to feel lightheaded when he stood up in the morning, and by early afternoon, his energy would completely drain. His daughter grew increasingly concerned and took him to see a pulmonologist, fearing it could be the onset of COPD or another serious lung condition. To their surprise, the doctor didn't start with lung scans or medications. Instead, he asked something simple yet revealing. "Tell me about Frank's sleeping environment. Is there airflow in the room? How warm is it at night?" What they discovered changed everything. Frank's health wasn't deteriorating due to disease. It was the room itself. With his windows closed and no ventilation, the air in his bedroom had become stagnant. Carbon dioxide levels were rising while oxygen was dropping through the night. The dry, still air was quietly stressing his lungs and heart. The warmth he once found comforting was now contributing to shallow breathing and a sense of suffocation. You see, when the air is too warm, especially in a poorly ventilated room, your body can't cool itself efficiently. That struggle disrupts sleep, keeps your heart rate elevated, and leaves you feeling unrested, even after a full night in bed. According to the National Sleep Foundation, the ideal temperature for optimal sleep lies between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. When your room is much warmer than that, your body stays slightly overheated, which interferes with deep sleep cycles and recovery processes. And for seniors, whose internal temperature regulation is naturally less robust, that added stress can elevate blood pressure, trigger irregular heartbeats like atrial fibrillation, and leave you more fatigued with each passing day. So the question is the comfort of warmth worth the cost to your health? For Frank, and many others like him, the answer led to a life-changing adjustment. Let's explore what he did next to reclaim his energy and safeguard his well-being. Feeling fatigued the next day isn't always about how long you sleep. It's often about how well your body functions during that sleep. The nighttime hours are when your body is most vulnerable and most in need of restoration. This is the critical period when your breathing deepens, your heart rate slows, and your brain enters a state of active repair and memory processing. But when the air is heavy, stagnant, or the temperature is too warm, your nervous system remains on high alert. It starts working overtime, not to heal, but to compensate, struggling to cool the body or draw in enough oxygen. That subtle, ongoing effort adds up. Without you realizing it, your body starts releasing excess cortisol, the stress hormone. And what does that mean for you? Over time, cortisol can silently erode your immune system, disrupt your memory, and leave you waking up more tired than when you went to bed. That's exactly what was happening to Frank, even though he was technically getting a full 8 hours of sleep. Thankfully, the fix was simple, yet powerful. After visiting the doctor, Frank's daughter stepped in and made a few small but impactful changes. They lowered the thermostat from a cozy 75 degrees down to a more optimal 67. While it felt a bit brisk at first, Frank's body quickly adjusted, and he found it easier to fall asleep without tossing and turning. Next, they opened the window just slightly, enough to let in a gentle trickle of fresh air. On colder nights, instead of sealing the room shut again, they used a small air purifier with a quiet fan to keep the air gently circulating. That subtle airflow was all it took to prevent carbon dioxide buildup and allow oxygen to flow more freely. The result? Within just a few days, Frank noticed a real difference. He no longer woke up with that uncomfortable chest pressure. He described his mornings as brighter and more energizing, like he could finally take a full, refreshing breath. His energy came back, his mood lifted, and for the first time in months, he returned to his beloved morning walks. Here's the truth. There's no need to fear a slightly cooler room at night. In fact, science supports it. Studies have shown that people fall asleep more easily and experience deeper, more restorative sleep in cooler environments. And if you're worried about feeling cold, simply layer up with a soft blanket. It's far better than sweating in a hot, stuffy room that silently robs you of rest. One of the easiest and most effective tools you can introduce is a small fan. It doesn't have to blow directly on your body. Just the gentle movement of air helps prevent stale air from settling, reduces carbon dioxide accumulation, and makes the room feel lighter and easier to breathe in. And if you or a loved one uses oxygen therapy or has a history of respiratory conditions, proper air circulation isn't just beneficial, it's essential. Many older homes are so well insulated that they unintentionally trap air pollutants, dust, and allergens, creating a space that may feel cozy but lacks the clean airflow your body desperately needs. Even something as simple as adding an air filter or occasionally cracking a window can transform your sleep environment and, by extension, your health. Because in the end, your body doesn't just need sleep. It needs the right conditions to heal while you sleep. Even something as simple as cracking open a window or running a ceiling fan can completely transform the quality of your sleep. These small yet intentional changes don't just make your room more comfortable. They directly improve air circulation, reduce stuffiness, and allow your lungs to receive the oxygen they need throughout the night. Over time, these minor adjustments can lead to noticeable improvements in your energy levels, mental clarity, and even emotional balance during the day. Another simple but powerful tip is to replace heavy blackout blinds with sheer curtains. Why? Because sheer curtains allow natural sunlight to gently filter into your room in the morning, helping your body reset its internal clock. Exposure to morning light encourages your brain to regulate melatonin production more efficiently. And when your circadian rhythm is aligned, it becomes much easier to fall asleep and stay asleep at night. And let's not overlook the incredible impact of fresh air. Just 10 minutes of outdoor air exposure each day, whether it's stepping out on the porch, sitting by an open window, or taking a slow stroll around the block, can dramatically influence how your room feels when it's time to rest. You may not notice it right away, but your lungs do. Though things like temperature, airflow, and daylight might seem like small comfort issues, they're anything but minor. In truth, they are essential pillars of your nighttime recovery. Your heart, lungs, and brain are still hard at work while you sleep. And just like any team, they perform best in the right conditions. If your sleep environment isn't supportive, the effects ripple into every part of your life. You may wake up feeling drained, your thinking might feel foggy, and even your balance or coordination could suffer. But when your body gets the right kind of rest, you feel sharper, stronger, and more like yourself. Frank's story is just one example, but it's a powerful one. His slow, creeping fatigue wasn't due to illness. It was the result of an overlooked factor: poor air quality and excess warmth at night. Once those conditions changed, so did his health. That kind of transformation is possible for anyone. By taking control of your sleep space, You allow your body to do what it was designed to do: heal, restore, and recharge for the day ahead. Now that we've explored how nighttime TV, dehydration before bed, and poor air conditions can quietly age your body and drain your vitality, take a moment to reflect. These habits often slip into our routines without us noticing, but by recognizing them and making small adjustments, you're giving your body the chance to thrive well into your later years. We've covered some of the most common yet underestimated nighttime habits that can quietly undermine seniors' health after 60. First, we explored the hidden dangers of sleeping with the TV on. While it may seem like a harmless source of comfort, the light and noise it emits can seriously disrupt your brain's natural sleep rhythms. Over time, this shallow, fragmented sleep can raise your risk of memory issues and even put added strain on your heart. Then we talked about hydration, or rather, the lack of it. Avoiding water before bed might seem like a smart way to prevent midnight bathroom trips. But this well-meaning habit can lead to thickened blood, reduced oxygen flow, and an increased risk of confusion, stroke, and mental fog by morning. Simply sipping a small amount of water before bed could make a tremendous difference in your body's ability to rest and recover. And finally, we discussed your sleep environment, specifically the room temperature and the quality of the air you breathe. Too much heat or poor air circulation can compromise your sleep quality, deprive your brain and heart of necessary oxygen, and leave you feeling drained and groggy when you wake. These may sound like small inconveniences, but over weeks and months, they can take a serious toll on your health, focus, and overall vitality. The truth is, each of these habits is easy to overlook, but also easy to fix. A few thoughtful adjustments, made tonight, can restore balance to your body's natural rhythms and give your mind and heart the restorative rest they truly need. You have the power to make these choices. You can create a sleep environment that supports healing, energy, and longevity. Sleep isn't just downtime. It's your body's most powerful tool for repair, clarity, and resilience. Treat it with care. And if you've stayed with me this far, I truly thank you. Drop a number 6 in the comments so I know you're still here. I'd love to hear what changes you plan to make starting tonight. What one tip are you most excited to try? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. If this video brought you insight or comfort, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. You won't want to miss the upcoming videos where we'll dive deeper into practical, science-backed strategies to help you thrive after 60. Wishing you strength, peace, and vibrant health in every stage of life. And don't forget to subscribe to Healthy Aging Blueprint for more empowering tips.